had been a fan of John Woo's movies, and also Travolta. I think he's a wonderful actor and has been for many years, so those two together seem like a good combination to me. The more I got involved with the script, the more I became aware that there was something in this character that could be brand new. You know, the concept itself is new. But the more I meditated on it, the idea of wearing the face of the man that killed my son, you know, metaphorically, not metaphorically, literally in the movie, but it's an extreme situation, and I like extreme situations. I like to play extreme situations, so there was a lot of material there for me to explore. He's a sociopath. He is a killer. He is, by some definition, a madman. He is brilliant, and he is a very, he's one of those guys with a huge appetite for sex, for money, for clothes, gold, killing. Sean Archer is a decent man who has been broken by an enormous family tragedy, the highest level of grief in the loss, the murder of his son. And it's downhill from there. You know, it begins with a man who's lost his grip on wanting to live, who's lost his passion to live because of this terrible tragedy. And it's obviously understandable, but needs to find closure somehow. I saw on TV once a guy got bitten by a great white shark, and you would think that he would hate sharks after that, but his whole life became about understanding the great white shark, and he became fascinated with them. Well, it's the same with Sean Archer. He's totally fascinated with Castor Troy through this horrible incident that Castor killed his kid. So he becomes Castor Troy to find closure. He becomes the enemy to try to solve this, to put this thing to bed, to find justice for the death of his son. He wants to, his whole motivation is to get, to avenge the death of his son, really. I mean, there is the level where he has to find the bomb and stop it, but also he wants closure. He wants Castor Troy dead. Sean Archer is presented with this proposition that we can literally take your face off and put the face of Castor Troy on you. Now, you're going to look like Castor Troy, we're going to put something in your throat to make you sound like Castor Troy, and you're going to go to prison and be Castor Troy and get information for us. And they do it surgically, they do it by altering the sound of his voice. And what that does is give both Travolta and myself a chance to do something that I feel really hasn't been done before, which is to capture each other's essences and then try to run with it and make these different characters seem real. John and I didn't know each other before this, but we quickly realized in the rehearsal process that there were enough similarities in rhythms and gesture that we didn't need to worry too much about modeling each other. We did find certain scenes and gestures that we could agree on that we would mirror, you know, and there's a scene at the beginning of the movie where John Travolta is very upset because he has to go on this mission and he can't tell Joan Allen that I have to go, and he wants to tell her so bad, and he kind of goes, oh God, and he does this, and I said, okay, good. Now when I go back to the house after I break out of prison, I'm going to find a way to say, oh God, and do this, and so that we have the same, we mirror one another. And we did that only 4 or 5 times, but after that, we just sort of let the ball roll and see where it goes. Everyone says I'm the bad guy in the movie, but I actually play the good guy for the bulk of the movie because I'm only the bad guy for the first 15 minutes, or 10 minutes even, and then become Sean Archer. So, and then vice versa, he he becomes the bad guy. And so I wanted to really explore taking the Sean Archer character into levels of question about his sanity, really meditate on what this would be like. And it gave me quite a bit of range. I could go from total grief to anger, denial, even starting to enjoy being the bad guy. All this stuff that was really jammed with different emotions and levels. I think that John Woo's approach is really like a dance. I mean, and I know people have said that about him before, but it's extremely apparent to me working with him that, I mean, he has moves, specific moves that he'll give me where I think, well, what am I, Rudolph Nureyev? I mean, he'll make me spin around and whip the gun out from the back and go. It's wonderful. It's totally brand new. It's always more fun to play the bad guy. I mean, because you can really cut off from that. You can just, play. Sometimes playing the good guy who's being put upon can be kind of a downer. But anyway, there's enough of both here that I think that people will get what they want.